What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Progressive Action TV show. I am your host, Tramel Thompson, and we have one heck of a show for you guys today. We're going to be talking about the MTA Old Boys Network and how they really not that smart. They not smart at all. It's really embarrassing the way that they moving out here. So over these past 2 days, I was made aware that there was a letter circulating around the transit community saying how Superintendent Isaac Thompson was giving me information. Now, I was not going to respond to this because when I read the letter, I honestly laughed at it. I thought it was funny. I still find it hilarious that they have no clue who's giving me information. And I also laughed because I predicted that they were going to start making moves on certain people, particularly speaking, people who they had named in the secret audio recordings that I'd have. Now, I've made it clear. I have hours worth of audio recording from management, hours worth. And I'm not going to release everything, but I am going to release some things. And I brought this up before about how management was naming superintendents who they thought was giving me information. And I also told my people, I guarantee you that managers, upper management, is going to start taking action out on these managers who they think is giving me information. And I was 100% correct. So let me play the first audio recording so you can hear from upper management themselves on who they think is giving me information. Check it out.
He said, be careful of Keto, be careful of Pryce, be careful of Isaac Thompson, Cavorius. They told us that.
Now, that is an audio recording of Chief Officer Ronald Lloyd before he retired. He made it clear. The people who the upper managers want everyone to be careful of is Superintendents Akito Staccato, Cassius Pryce, Isaac Thompson, and Tom Cavorius. Now, coincidentally, all four of those superintendents have been retaliated against in some form or fashion. For example, Superintendent Staccato, he was shipped from New York City Transit to Staten Island for no apparent reason, according to them. Isaac Thompson is currently going through some discipline and arbitration right now for something he wasn't even responsible for. They brought up fictitious charges on him. Tom Cavorius, he was forced out and got into a big argument with Acto Charles Henschke for something that wasn't his fault. And as far as Cassius Pryce is concerned, they can't do anything with him because he's a superintendent union rep. So there's absolutely nothing that they could do with him. Now, I want to bring up the letter in question. This is the letter in question. I'm not going to read it. A lot of you guys already have the letter. I done posted it on Progressive Action, the group. If you want it, I will send it to you. But it basically says that some other managers wrote an anonymous letter saying that they don't trust Isaac Thompson and that Isaac Thompson was giving me information to put onto my show. Now, like I said, these guys are not smart. I've said it time and time again that I have hours worth of recordings. And in the first recording that I played, the chief officer, Ronald Lloyd, actually said the people who they think is giving me information. Akito Staccato, Cassius Pryce, Isaac Thompson, Tom Cavorius. Now, if you look at the bottom of this letter, this anonymous letter, they CC'd the SSSA, which is the supervisors union. They CC'd Chief Officer Paul Mcphee, Acto Charles Henschke, and Greg Macher for some reason, right? What was that about, right? So the reason why, I'm going to tell you why they CC those particular managers is because they know Charles Joseph Henschke do not like me. That's obvious. They know that Paul Jeffrey Mcphee does not like me. That's obvious, right? And they CC Greg Macher. Now, I know Greg Macher, right? Now, if they want to make this issue bigger than what it is, I would gladly give Greg Macher my evidence of how you guys tried to cover up the Charles Henschke situation, right? But like I said, these guys are not that smart. They are taking action on people who they think is giving me information. Now, I'm going to walk you guys through this. Aikido Staccato. I know Aikido through, I don't know when he first became a superintendent or when he was a train operator. I can't really pinpoint when I first met him, but I have no real business relationship with that guy. None whatsoever. Right? Isaac Thompson. The first time I met Isaac Thompson was for the memorial that we gave to the transit workers who died during the pandemic. No real relationship with that guy. People think that we related because we got the same last name. I don't even really know that guy, right? Cassius Pryce. My first time actually seeing him was doing research for this show. I never met or seen Cassius Pryce. Tom Kavorius. I don't even know what Tom Kavorius looked like. I'm quite sure, I get the manager's Rolodex, but I had no real reason to look at Tom Kavorius' picture to even know what he looks like. I never even spoke to Tom Kavorius. So they naming people who I don't have no real relationships with. None whatsoever. Right? But these guys are being targeted because of me. Each and every last one of them. Right? Including Pryce. And I'm going to get into that in a few. But let me play this next audio because management is saying they want to know how I get these reports. So check out Chief Officer Ronald Lloyd again.
Barry, me, all of us was in a meeting and we discussed it. And then we were like, I'm saying, I wonder how he's getting these information.
Now listen to what the Chief Officer Ronald Lloyd said. Like I said, he's retired right now, but at the time this recording took place, he was not retired. Listen to what he said. He said him, Barry Greenblatt, who was the former vice president before he retired, and Paul Mcphee, I call him the ringleader of all this stuff. And I'm going to break down in this show to show you guys why I believe that he's the ringleader, right? So I got so much information, I don't even know what to get into first. Let's start off with how they cover up situations. Let's start off with this guy, Mark Wolodarski. Mark Wolodarski is a superintendent in subways. Now, I have brought this up before, that Mark Wolodarski was bringing non-transit employees onto the property. Now, I want for you train operators and conductors to think about this for a second. If you allow an employee in your cab, you're going to be heavily disciplined. Mark Wolodarski was allowing non-transit employees onto the property and nothing happened to him. Let me play this video for you guys so you could get a clear picture of what I'm talking about. Now I'm going to pause the video right here. The guy to the left is Mark Wolodarski. The guy to the right is a non-transit employee impersonating an employee, and Mark Wolodarski gave him the tools to do that. Now, this non-employee also rides the nostalgia train. As you can see, he has on a he has on a transit vest and a shirt that shows that he works for the PATH train. Now, this was actually reported by another worker named Crichlow that also said that Mark Wolodarski was allowing non-transit employees to impersonate a transit employee. Here he is with an MTA vest and a PATH shirt, right? This is that same guy with Mark Wolodarski on a work train, right? And this is that same guy with a PATH vest on. So what's going on here? What's going on here? Paul Mcphee knew about this situation. And because Mark Wolodarski is one of his guys in the Old Boys Network, they tried to cover it up. Now, let me show you guys Paul Jeffrey Mcphee. Let me put him on the screen. This is Paul Jeffrey Mcphee. He is a chief officer in subways. Right? So Paul Jeffrey Mcphee, let me break him down for a second for you guys. Put his picture on the screen. Paul Jeffrey Mcphee is the ringleader of the Old Boys Network that we have today. I've spoke about him in the past, how he has covered up discipline for his friends. I spoke about his demeanor towards people of color, and I actually got some new information regarding that. So, coincidentally, during the Mark Wolodarski hearing about him bringing non-transit employees on the property, Paul Jeffrey Mcphee called this guy a boy during the hearing. He called this black man who's standing here with Governor Hochul and the president of the UTLO a boy. Who is this guy? Coincidentally, it is Superintendent Cassius Pryce. He is a union rep for the UTLO. Paul Mcphee called Cassius Pryce a boy. Sound very racist to me. Now, from what I understand, Cassius Pryce did file a complaint with, I don't know if it was upper management or was it SIR, but he did file a complaint about this. And nothing came of it. Seems like it's another cover-up going on with the Old Boys Network. And once again, what do Cassius Pryce have to do with this? Listen to this audio recording again.
So be careful of Keto, be careful of Pryce, be careful of Isaac Thompson, Cavorius. They told us that.
So we brought up Superintendent Isaac Thompson. They got him written up for frivolous discipline, and they putting out fake anonymous letters saying that this guy's giving me information to put more heat on him, specifically while he's going through this whole discipline case for something that was falsified on him, right? Now you got Pryce. You got Paul Mcphee can't do nothing with Pryce. They can't discipline him. They can't do anything with him. They can't take no type of retaliatory action towards him because he is a union rep. So the next best thing for Paul Mcphee is to insult Mr. Pryce, because that's the best that he can do, right? So that's 2 managers. Well, that's 3 managers that they have taken action on that I have spoken about. Akito Staccato, they shipped him out to Staten Island. They got him out of New York City Transit. Isaac Thompson, they say that he is the one, or they wrote a fictitious letter saying that he's the one giving me information, which is false. Cassius Pryce, they insult him during hearings. Let's talk about the next person that was CC'd on that letter I showed. Let me get him queued up. Let me get this guy queued up. Charles Joseph Henschke. Let's get him queued up over here. Now, like I said, on that letter, they had the SSA union. They had Paul Mcphee, Charles Henschke, and Greg Macher. This is Charles Henschke. Now, why would they have Charles Henschke? Because they know Charles Henschke don't like me. I got Charles Henschke in trouble. Charles Henschke used his power to get his brother a favorable job inside the company. And he got caught because other managers snitched him out to me. They gave me the information right on time while he was targeting me. And I had to go to SIR for an investigation for them to do something about it. Now, ironically, they didn't do anything regarding him targeting me, even though I had information on that. Right? But they did something about the nepotism part because they couldn't hide that. I had proof. I had pictures. I had audio of that. Right? So they had to act on that. Now, what ended up happening was that they tried to cover that up also. Tremel, how did they try to cover that up? When they substantiated the charges on Henschke regarding the complaint that I put in, they tried to label it as bias activity. But more importantly, for such an egregious violation, they only gave him a reprimand. Tremel, who gave Charles Henschke the reprimand? You guessed right. Paul Jeffrey Mcphee. He covered up for his friend. More nepotism, more cronyism, more ethics violations. Once I whistleblowed on that situation, they created a fake story and said that they mislabeled Charles Joseph Henschke discipline. At that point, they had to change his discipline to an ethics violation and a nepotism violation. So I know that they was very, 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 very upset about that. They was very upset about that. That they got caught red-handed trying to cover for their guy again. Now, let me tell you something about Mcphee. Mcphee is upset. He's disgruntled right now. Why? Because when Barry Greenblatt retired, Paul Mcphee swore up and down that vice president position would be his. Would be his. That didn't happen. What ended up happening, I'm paying attention to the board to see these moves. What is this guy named? Herbie Lambert retired some years ago. Somehow, magically, Herbie Lambert came back and was put in a position that Paul Mcphee wanted. So Paul Mcphee is politically dead right now. His career is at a standstill. What better way to tell someone that they not getting a job by bringing back a retiree to take the job that you wanted? So Paul Mcphee, we understand why you mad. We understand why you upset. Your career is over. You will not ascend any higher than what you are right now. Unless somebody from the Old Boys Network pull you up again. I don't even know how you got away with this whole Charles Hinchke thing. You shouldn't have a job. You created nepotism on top of the nepotism. But I guess management fixed you. They gave your job away to a retiree. You would not ascend any higher than the chief officer unless somebody else from the Old Boys Network come and save you. But we go see about that. But Charles Hinchke, put his picture back up. Ethics violation, nepotism. I don't even understand why they CC'd him on that paper. His credibility is shot. He should have been demoted or fired for what he did. There's plenty of news articles of other transit workers doing the same thing and being fired. Somehow, some way, Charles Hinchke was only given a re-instruction for ethics and nepotism violation. The Old Boys Network is busy. They are busy. You must give them credit. They may not be intelligent, but they sure do cover for one another. I want to know, do you guys remember this guy? You guys remember this guy? Jason Brown? Do you guys remember what Jason Brown did? Let's get into it. Let me put his picture up too. Put his little picture up. We'll put his little picture up. This is what Jason Brown said. He said, remember, white people, your sole purpose during this time is to protect people of color while they're destroying the city. Obey, submit. Jason Brown wrote this during the George Floyd riots in New York City. Jason Brown also authored this comment when Trayvon Martin was killed by George Zimmerman. He said, no, Zimmerman was driving to the target. I mean, to Target. It is obvious that Jason Brown has something against people of color, right? So, of course, I banged that in to my media peoples. And the Daily News, Channel 4 covered it, Channel 11 covered it. They say MTA superintendent suspended for racist social media posts will keep his job following arbitration proceedings. Now, how did that happen? How can a guy keep his job when on multiple occasions he was counseled for his racist outbursts on social media? It's because he's a part of the Paul Jeffrey Mcphee Old Boys Network. I mean, the egregiousness of those comments on more than one occasion. I didn't even post all the comments that he did. But what did the MTA do? They did not go after him with a heavy hand. They treated him very delicate. They played the arbitrator game, in which I believe that the arbitrators is in the MTA pockets. I do believe that. And they demoted him for 6 months and then gave him his job back. Now, I'm going to let the MTA know this. You guys can take it whichever way you want. You guys accepted Jason Brown. Me, Tremel Thompson, would never listen to a known racist. I would never take orders from someone who think of black people or talk about black people in that manner. Never in life. If you guys decided to leave him in RTO, y'all didn't have to leave him in RTO. I mean, let's think about it. Well, maybe if y'all thought that Jason Brown was giving me information, maybe y'all ship him to Staten Island. Maybe you'll ship him to Long Island Railroad, Metro North. You'll ship him to be a cleaner, to work in stations or whatever the case is. You guys will make moves. But think about it like this. Y'all thought that Aikido Staccato was giving me information. Y'all shipped him to Staten Island. No proof, no nothing. But y'all have proof that you had a manager that's in the Old Boys Network is a racist or a bigot at best, at least. Y'all demote him for 6 months and leave him entitled. Leave him in the same department of the people that he despised, the black people that he despised. No real action. Somebody tell me, how does that make sense? How does that make sense? So they named 4 people, and I got 4 people. They named Aikido Staccato, Cassius Pryce, Isaac Thompson, Tom Cavorius. Why are we not discussing Paul Mcphee, Jason Brown, what's his name, Charles Henschke, or Mark Wolodarski? It's because when it comes to corruption, when it comes to nepotism, when it comes to cronyism, when it comes to ethics violations, that's not a priority over who we think is giving Tremel information to whistleblow on all of our corruption. You see the sense that makes people? What's more important is who's giving me information versus the information that's really getting whistleblowed on. Jason Brown got exposed because of me. Mark Wolodarski got exposed because of me. Charles Henschke got exposed because of me. Paul Jeffrey Mcphee got exposed because of me. But in the MTA eyes, we see what's more important. What's more important is trying to bury the person, Tremel Thompson, who's exposing this corruption. The Transit Authority mission is to try to destroy the people who they think is giving me information. And they waste no time to take action out against those guys. No time. But when it comes to Charles Joseph Henschke, Paul Jeffrey Mcphee, Mark Wolodarski, and Jason Brown, they move at a snail's pace if they move at all. And then when they do move, they get the lightest punishment ever. The lightest punishment ever. Now, I'm going to tell you what. We're going to be doing some special shows soon. I'm going to get some retirees to come on the show and talk about the culture of New York City Transit, on how it's racist, how the Old Boys Network really operate. We're going to get into all of that. We're going to get into all of that. Woo! Man, these guys is not smart at all. Yo, I'm telling you, these guys are not smart at all, man. They not smart at all, right? But we seen this coming from a mile away. Me and my team, we seen this coming from a mile away. They so easy. They so easy. Not smart at all. But if you like the information that you got from today, you can donate to the show via Cash App. The Cash App is $Progressive Action 100. That helps keeps things running over here, keeps things together. Give me a better way to bring the information to you guys. So if you want to donate to the platform, donate to the platform so we could keep this information coming for you guys. But that's today's show. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.